Part 93. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 931. Nanshan Wanjiao and Yezixi didn't expect it, but when Wu Yu saw the two-polarity Tai sword for the first time, he actually thought that it might be suitable for Yezixi. Ran. When novels. R.A.N.E.N. The two-polarity Tai sword can be divided into two or combined into one. When it is combined into one, the hilts are butted, and both ends have lethality. Compared with the demon subduing staff, the lethality type of the two ends of the demon subduing staff may be different from that of the sword. One end is a crescent shovel and the other end is a giant axe. It may be heavy and light, which is different from the balance of the two ends of the two-polarity Tai sword. However, this is the most suitable upper spiritual weapon that Wu Yu has seen so far for Yezixi. She previously had two spiritual instruments, the Mianyan Wind Chime and the Lava World Scroll, neither of which was suitable for her current performance. Now her physical strength and Purple Palace energy were increasing dramatically. The 10 wheels of Kesadagarba Ghost Nerve and the Hell Reincarnation Body changed her, making her more suitable for close combat weapons. Therefore, Wu Yu proposed to give her the two-polar Tai sword. This was his own proposal, and of course he had no objection. And Nanshan Wanjiao, he contributed a lot this time, but, first, he was not interested in the instrument, second, he also gave way to Yezixi, and third, Wu Yu also gave him all the other treasures of the yin-yang old demon. So, he had no objection. Moreover, he knew that in the future, everyone still had a long way to go together. Take it. Seeing that she was still a little embarrassed, Wu Yu pushed it directly into her hand and said, "This time we go to Nanyan Demon Continent, there will probably be many unknown tests. You don't have the magical power of the immortal for the time being. It will be of great help to all of us to master a high-level spiritual weapon first. In particular, Wu Yu himself can escape at any time. Nanshan Wanjiao also has the magical power of invisibility, and she lacks the ability to save her life. Wu Yu is worried that bringing her here will cause her death." "Okay, thank you, brothers." Yezixi was actually very happy. At this time, she didn't even want the lazy cat. She held the two-polar Tai sword in both hands and couldn't let it go. The lazy cat fell on the overtime of the Yingxian, a little unhappy, glared at Yezixi, then climbed to the top of the Yingxian and continued to sleep soundly. She naturally wanted to continue to sacrifice this high-level spiritual weapon, so she immediately returned to her room. Wu Yu and Nanshan Wanjiao smiled at each other, and Nanshan Wanjiao said, "With this little sister here, we two grown men won't be too awkward to get along with each other. Indeed, if the two of them were always together, it would be really awkward." He began to steer the ship and continued to head towards Nanyan Yezhu. The old yin-yang demon could only be regarded as an episode on their way. Wu Yu's current goal was to reach Nanyan Yezhu as soon as possible. "If you don't have any improper thoughts about me, it won't be awkward." Wu Yu glanced at him and said. But, Nanshan Wanjiao didn't expect that he would be teased one day. "It seems that the closer you get to Nanyan Yezhu, the better your mood." Nanshan Wanjiao smiled ambiguously. "It's not that, but Wu Yu felt that it was really good to have someone accompany him when repairing the road. If they hadn't fought side by side this time, he would definitely not be able to solve the old yin-yang demon by himself. Although Nanshan Wanjiao and Yezixi were not as good as him in fighting, they still had many special means to help him. For example, the green frenzy of the flowers and trees of the rebirth left a deep impression on Wu Yu. The Yingxian set off again and continued to hide. The front was getting closer and closer to the Nanyan Demon Continent. On the way, Wu Yu relied on his fiery eyes to see many demons hiding in the deep sea, but those demons did not find him. He was very surprised on the way. There were too many demons in the sea, and the key was that there were many types. Most of them were creatures that had never been seen before and became demons. It is said that there are more demons in the deep sea far away from the Nanyan Demon Continent. Some places where demons gather, such as the Eternal Life Sea and the Dead Sea, also have trillions of demons in the sea. The whole sea is endless. Standing at the bow, after a few days, Wu Yu had seen a vast continent in the distant sky. The closer he got, it was almost like approaching the Yanhuang ancient domain. It is said that this is the largest island, not half the size of Dongsheng Shenzhou. Its original name is Nanyanyadao, but it looks so huge that it is almost like a piece of land. Nanyanyahu was also seen. Demons have demonic aura. From a distance, Wu Yu saw that the demonic aura on Nanyanyahu was soaring to the sky and filled the sky. Although he had not approached yet, the breath of demons was blowing in his face, with a bit of fishy smell, which made people feel uncomfortable. I don't know how many demons there are on it. Go around to the south and land again. Okay. In fact, it had been agreed before. This is to the north of Nanyanyahu, and Fanqi Mountain is to the south of Nanyanyahu. If you want to land here, you have to cross the entire Nanyanyahu. There are too many demons on the road. Naturally, it is faster to go around to the south of Nanyanyahu and land directly in the south. Then, the Yingxian began to sail around Nanyanyahu. In this way, he could know more clearly the scope of the Nanyan demon continent. Although he did not go in directly, Wu Yu could roughly see from the periphery that there were countless demons in the mountains, forests, valleys, and rivers. Unlike the demons in the sea, these were the land demons that Wu Yu basically knew. During this period of time, Yezixi has already sacrificed and refined the Shangling Deikai, and is now studying the magic array inside. Last time, she saw the yin-yang old demon perform the attack magic array and personally endured its power, which helped her to be familiar with the hundreds of thousands of magic arrays inside. This chapter is not yet finished. Please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content below. It took a lot of days to go all the way to the south. Wu Yu was also studying the map prepared before departure along the way. After the Yingxian arrived at the location he expected, they were going to withdraw the Yingxian and go directly to the Nanyan demon continent. On the Nanyan demon continent, the very hidden Yingxian was no longer used because on the Nanyan demon continent, as long as they did not go to the territory occupied by some demons, the demons they saw would not necessarily attack them. After all, there were many cultivators here. Of course, it was also because there were magic arrays set up by demons in some places in Nanyan demon continent. In the hidden immortal, Wu Yu's ability to see through these magic array traps was much worse. If he reached the land, it would be more convenient and flexible to go directly forward. After all, Fanqi Mountain was not very far away from here. Therefore, the three of them quietly went to Nanyan demon continent. It is said that the terrain of Nanyan demon continent is very complex, with high mountains and jungles everywhere, like a primitive wilderness. Demons are not good at using magic arrays to build cities and palaces, so many of them live in magic tools and Taoist tools, such as warships, and they are basically bought from Taoists or robbed. Therefore, Nanyan demon continent is a primitive wilderness, with wild mountains and ridges everywhere, towering ancient trees, demonic aura everywhere, and dark clouds rolling, resulting in extremely poor vision. However, although it looks very desolate, there are actually many monsters hidden in the mountains, wilderness, swamps, lakes, and rivers. Most of them are small monsters in the Jindan and Zifa realms. When they reach the Yuanshen realm, they are considered big monsters. Of course, for Wu Yu and his team, the real threat is still the old monsters in the Daodao realm. As for the monster kings and monster masters, they are all the masters of this Nanyan monster continent. For example, the Black Front Monster King is very strong, and it is estimated that he is at least as strong as Chuyin and his team. After coming up, Wu Yu began to walk in this primitive jungle. He has a fiery eye, and many monsters can't escape his eyes. As long as he doesn't meet an old monster, he basically doesn't need to avoid him. Nanshan Wanjiao is a monster in the Yuanshen realm. After having the immortal inheritance, he is still amazing in terms of monster power. When he passed by, the small and big monsters along the way were basically scared to death and dared not to move forward. Just now, a little demon in the Jindan realm appeared on the road. It was a black bear, 3 meters tall. When it saw Nanshan Wanjiao, it was so scared that it peed, and crawled away. Although there are many demons here, they are not as densely packed as those in the sea area. The feeling of tens of millions is still more terrifying in the sea area, Yazixi said. Wu Yu said, that's true. It is said that some demon lords in the sea area can summon billions of demons and troops to launch an attack. There is still no end in sight, and it is densely packed. Billions. This is indeed terrifying. However, most of the sea area demons are not at a high level. Among the billions, at least 90% are cannon fodder. It's just that so many cannon fodders attacking together are also quite terrifying. Where are we going now? A place called Little Valley, which is closer to the area controlled by the Black Blade Demon King. We have spent a lot of time on the road. We just came here to inquire about the latest situation and see if there is any other news. Little Valley. Why can I inquire about this place? Yazixi didn't know much. Wu Yu patiently explained, this place is a bit like the city of cultivators. It is a place where demons trade and rest. There are also many cultivators who open shops here and trade with demons. It is a relatively stable place in Nanyan Demon Continent. Most demons abide by the rules and don't mess around here. However, there is no military force like the Xiaoxian Empire to suppress it, so it is actually quite chaotic. There are actually fights and assassinations and robberies. There are many demons who don't follow the rules. Some rely on their own strength to rob in broad daylight in Little Valley. Some of these territories are directly opened by some big figures, so they need to be more stable. Little Valley is said to be a place covered by the Black Blade Demon King. Those cultivators who dare to open shops here must have strong backgrounds, Nanshan Wanjiao said. That's right. Basically, they have some ability. Either they have spent money, or they are protected by the Black Blade Demon King. This time, if Wu Yu wants to find her, he must go deep into the tiger's den. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Feng Qing Yang. Chapter 932. From here to Little Valley, at their current forward speed, it would take half a day. Because this is the territory of demons, you take the lead. Zixi and I will follow. When we get to the small valley, we go to find a place called Wolf Demon Inn. It is more lively there. This is also the only one who knows how to be the emperor's son. Yes, the demon here is better informed, Wu Yu explained to Nanshan Wanjiao on the road. When the time comes, let Nanshan Wanjiao do everything. He and Yazixi will follow behind. I want to be the boss. This relationship is great. When the time comes, you all have to be smarter. Nanshan Wanjiao suddenly became proud. Brother Nanshan, you are a villain, Yazixi said with a smile. Wu Yu could see that she had almost regained her previous agility and liveliness, which made Wu Yu feel more relieved. Oh, you little girl, you dare to say that I am a villain, believe it or not, I will ask my little brother Wu Yu to slap you, Nanshan Wanjiao threatened. I'm not afraid. Brother, you will definitely slap you. This made Nanshan Wanjiao troubled. Yazixi was just not afraid of him. Wu Yu was quite serious. While they were playing around, he continued, when people ask, just say that he is your follower. In addition, the reason why we ask Xiao Yagu to ask about Nangong Wei is because we want to get the bounty offered by the Black Blade Demon King will not arouse suspicion. After all, this is the territory of the Black Blade Demon King. In recent times, there should be many people asking for information about her. No problem, Nanshan Wanjiao said. After confirming, the three of them shuttled between the jungles, trying not to cause too much noise. Yazixi watched Wu Yu galloping in front. She was thinking about Nangong Wei. Then she looked at Wu Yu, who was always moving forward. She was still thinking in her heart, who is this girl named Nangong Wei? Brother Yu, is she important to you? Yezixi couldn't help but followed up and asked. Wu Yu was stunned. He didn't know how to answer this question. He could only say, I don't know, but she disappeared before. I must find out what happened and whether she is in danger. Of course, it's possible that this is not the person I'm looking for, but it just happens to be the same name. Speaking of this, I suddenly remembered the way she gave him the 9 directions suppressing demonic pillar in the ice and snow of Shu Mountain. The scene was vivid in my mind, but on that battlefield of life and death, I even gave back the 9 directions suppressing demonic pillar. She did. I don't understand. Yezixi scratched his head, half understanding. You don't understand this. I guess it was this guy's first love, and they ended up not being together anymore. Nanshan Wanjiao's words were astonishing and proud. However, he barely guessed it right. Ah, I understand, Yezixi blinked her dark eyes. In fact, her feelings for Wu Yu changed slightly. As the contact deepened, she found that Wu Yu didn't mean that to him, and she seemed to feel that her feelings for him were not what her mother described. In the relationship between Taoists and Taoists, Taoist couples must be in love with each other in order to be beneficial to both people. Forcibly combining them would be a disaster for both of them, so she gradually let go. After letting go, she found that in her life, there is only one thing left, and that is to become stronger and take revenge. This makes her goal very clear and gives her extra motivation. After letting go of some of the girlish feelings in your heart, you will find that the relationship between them will become more pure. It is friendship, but also family affection. In the front, Nanshan Wanjiao is wearing a white robe, holding a folding fan, and her black hair is flying. Looking at her appearance, she really looks like a jade tree standing in the wind, with majestic utensils and a carefree mind, like the true immortal who has emerged from the earth. I guess any girl would realize that this is exactly what she dreamed of, being a Taoist monk, but when she saw the beauties posing on his folding fan, Yezixi felt like she had lost all her skin. However, following these two brothers, even if she is a woman, her blood is boiling at this time. One day, I will be like them, more carefree, more heroic, and more tenacious. I will not be afraid of the sky or the earth. I will have a strong Taoist heart and would rather die than surrender. Yezixi vowed secretly. I want revenge too. In the memory, the scene of the ancient demon god and the ancient emperor Yanhuang appeared. Where here she was immersed in the meeting when Wu Yu's voice pulled her back. After a closer look, behind the jungle, there seemed to be continuous mountains on the left and right. The peaks of these mountains were very high and penetrated the clouds. Towering into the clouds. Between the two mountains, there is a very deep and wide valley. There is a lot of monsters in it. Before you get close, you can hear the voices of many monsters. If you want to come here, it is the Little Valley. We have already reached the Little Valley. This shows that Fenki Mountain is not far from here. Go in. At this time, Nanshan Wanjiao walked in front, swaggering, while Wu Yu and the two followed behind in a low-key manner. Without raising their heads, they could see that there were many demons walking in and out of the small valley. Outside, there are birds, animals, even insects, vegetation, and some strange things that become demons. Most of them are demons, most of them use their bodies to move directly, and only a small number of ascetics. The small valley is actually very big. After all, many demons and monsters are directly active here. It is like a city in the immortal cultivation empire. As soon as Wu Yu came in, he found that there was no end as far as the eye could see. In the dense forest, there were some imitations of cultivation. Some of the magic circle buildings built in the world of the gods directly landed warships on the ground and then sold things. There should be some places here in the gods. Wu Yu took a quick look and saw that there were various Taoist products for sale here. There are utensils, fairy spirits, treasures, elixirs, and even talismans. Of course, many of them are not directly displayed. You need to ask in person to know. Moreover, the shop owners here are very vigilant and heavily protected. It is estimated that they will flee directly if there is any trouble. Coming here was an eye-opener. Wu Yu looked over and saw many fox demons, tiger demons, and lion demons. At least there were rats, cows, tigers, rabbits, snakes, horses, sheep, monkeys, chickens, dogs, and pigs. And even if they were tiger demons, in fact, there are many types. Just looking at the appearance, you can't tell the type at all, nor can you tell the extent of its bloodline. In addition to these, there are also many birds flying in the sky. In some small places, there are even many insect monsters. Hidden, the ancient tree in the sky that seems motionless on the road might be a tree demon. At a cursory glance, there are no monsters that can be seen in this lively little valley that are stronger than Wu Yu and the others. Obviously, the monsters in the Xuanhuan realm have already occupied the mountain and become kings, and will not appear here, and they will not appear here. A group of little demons and big demons join in the fun. Whatever they want, they grab directly without having to trade here. Therefore, the appearance of Wu Yu and the others still caused some demons to panic. After all, they were new faces and looked very strong. Although they were not at the level of asking, no matter how small the demons were, they could feel panic due to their pressure. Especially Nanshan Wanjiao, who looks like a top-notch demon at first glance. Your Majesty, do you need any service? A dog demon appeared in front of him, shaking his head and wagging his tail, looking at the moon at Nanshan Mountain with trembling eyes. Huh, Nanshan Wanjiao looked at him. In fact, the demon saw them all hiding, so it dared to come forward. It was quite courageous. This is just a demon who has just arrived in the realm of Zifu. If you dare to be brave, you only need 5 Dao Yuan Shen pills. No matter what the king wants to ask, I can answer it if you know it, the dog demon said tremblingly. It turned out that Wu Yu and others were outsiders and knew that they must have something they wanted to know, so they had the courage to come up and make money. This courage is indeed not small, and they can be regarded as unusual among monsters. Nanshan Wanjiao said, "It seems that you are quite pleasing to the eye, no problem. Then let me ask you, do you know the whereabouts of Nangong Wei?" The dog demon was startled and said, "It turns out that the king is also here to offer a reward. However, if the younger one knew about it, he would go and receive the reward. It seems that the younger one has no fate with the Dao Yuan Shen Dan." He was very frustrated. "Then take us to the Wolf Demon Inn and give us the Dao Yuan Shen Dan." Wu Yu asked Nanshan Wanjiao to say that he did not expect the dog demon to know the news about Nangong Wei. "You want to go to the Wolf Demon Inn? But those black cloud tigers and wolves are very vicious." The dog demon was trembling a little. "Do you think we need to be afraid of them?" Nanshan Wanjiao picked him up and asked. "Don't be afraid. Of course the king is not afraid. I will take the king with you right away." The dog demon blushed and said quickly. "Walk." With this dog demon leading the way, Wu Yu doesn't have to wander around blindly. This little demon dares to come up and lead the way, and he is indeed very familiar with this place. His bloodline is not high, and he has opened up his spiritual intelligence. It is not easy to reach the realm of Zifu. "Black Blade Demon King, have you found Nangong Wei?" Wu Yu asked him directly on the way. "Of course not. Until now, I haven't heard any news. I only heard that the Demon King has increased the reward to 100 Xuanhuan Dan. This is the reward for killing Nangong Wei. Even if he provides her whereabouts, it will be useless. There can be 10 questioning divine pills. Ah, if only I knew her whereabouts. With 10 questioning divine pills, I would be able to advance a lot, reach the sky in one step, and turn around." The dog demon thought blindly. "If you think too much, it will make you return to the West. Don't you know that ordinary people are not guilty of carrying a jade?" Nanshan Wanjiao said with a smile. Monsters like this can control the wind and rain in Dongsheng Divine Continent, but here, life is still very difficult, and it is not easy to survive. Yes, yes, what the king said makes sense. The dog demon nodded quickly. He was a little curious as to why the king was followed by two humans, but he looked very powerful. Along the way, many demons noticed them, most of them hiding in the dark, watching them pass by, and then talking about them. A demon with two humans. What kind of monster is that? It feels scary. I don't know, I don't think I've heard of such a person nearby. I guess they came here for the reward from the Demon King. Damn it, there's another competitor. Soon after, the dog demon said, "We have arrived at the Wolf Demon Inn. This is an inn run by a group of black cloud tigers and wolves monsters. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment." Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 933. Here in Xiaogu, the Wolf Demon Inn is quite famous. Generally, if a well-known person can gain a foothold here, it means that this group of wolf monsters is not simple in itself. Otherwise, it would have been eliminated long ago. As a building in the demon area, the Wolf Demon Inn is already very well built. The gate is a huge wolf head with fangs spread out and the throat is the entrance. Of course, this is not a real corpse, but carved from a huge rock treasure. At the same time, many defensive formations are drawn on it. This Wolf Demon Inn is not small, and some demons don't like to change into human form, so even though you enter through this throat, the throat is actually very spacious. Ordinary demons swaggering in are not a problem at all. Writing this, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. The Wolf Demon Inn is quite lively and is considered one of the busiest places in the area. The dog demon said, "Heiyun tigers and wolves can brew a kind of wolf demon wine, which is divided into several levels. It is said that the lowest level is quite delicious. After drinking it, you will feel like ascending to immortality and it is very effective. Therefore demons often come to taste it, and even powerful men in the Wenwen realm are attracted to it. Of course, because of its great reputation and good wine, the price of this wolf demon wine is also very high, and it is not something that a little demon like me can enjoy." He looked at Nanshan Wanjiao eagerly, probably waiting for Nanshan Wanjiao to give him the Dao Yuan Shen pill. After all, his mission had already been derailed. Nanshan Wanjiao gave him the elixir and waved him away. After watching in the dark for a while, the three of them strode towards the Wolf Demon Inn. At this time, there were demons on both sides, big and small, and there were ghosts in the sky from time to time. There were eagles, rocks, and other different types of demons falling, and some were strangers who came here for the first time. However, Wu Yu and the others still attracted a little more attention because their combination was a little strange. "Who are the three of you? Why have you never seen them before?" As soon as he walked out, there was a huge creature blocking Nanshan Wanjiao. When he looked up, he saw that it was a steel-like giant elephant with three iron whips coming out of its head. The elephant trunk has comb-like spikes on it. It feels like this elephant trunk can flatten mountains. This is a kind of demon called the three-nosed iron elephant. Its bloodline is quite precious. Its body is like steel and its strength is amazing. You can basically reach the realm of Yuan Shen when you reach the peak. The three-nosed iron elephant in front of you is probably around the 6th level of the realm of Yuan Shen. Otherwise, he would not dare to come forward and ask questions. In fact, he means to ask Wu Yu and the others for help. One good thing, of course, is that he won't be very direct. As of now, his attitude seems to be pretty good. After all, his strategy is to block their way and then smile playfully, making Wu Yu and the others impatient to take action first. "Tell him to get lost." Nanshan Wanjiao put away his folding fan, pointed at the three-nosed iron elephant, and then said to Wu Yu. This guy seized this opportunity and began to command Wu Yu. Yes, of course, Wu Yu himself was in a hurry, so he didn't have time to waste time with these idle people. Although only these three-nosed iron elephants came forward, in fact, the surrounding local demons had been staring at them, outsiders. Those who want to find weak persimmons, if you don't scare them, there will be an endless supply of these short-sighted blockers. He suddenly rushed forward and reached the side of the three-nosed iron elephant in an instant. What appeared in his hand was the countless dragon sticks in the world. At this time, the three-nosed iron elephant realized that Wu Yu was about to take action and became furious. The three-nosed iron elephant like three iron whips, they hit Wu Yu's head violently. However, Wu Yu's movements were faster and more accurate than him. Just relying on the explosive power of his body, his 10,000 dragon staff instantly increased to more than 10 feet in length and its diameter was sufficient. When it was a foot wide, the stick kept blowing away its trunk, and even hit its body. Then many demons watched helplessly as the huge three-trunked iron elephant was whipped into the sky by Wu Yu. After flying so far, it took a long time to hear the crashing sound of landing. "See, don't mess with me," Nanshan Wanjiao snorted coldly, with such a majestic appearance that he scared away the demons around him. Then he hummed a tune proudly and called Wu Yu and Yezixi to walk into the wolf in the mouth of the leader. The discussion about their identity started to sound among the group of monsters. However, no matter how much discussion there was, they didn't know that they were from the Yanhuang ancient kingdom. "This guy is so shameless," Yezixi leaned into Wu Yu's ear and said. "Little girl, don't say bad things about me, don't think I can't hear you, or I'll cut your long tongue." Nanshan Wanjiao turned around and pretended to smile cruelly. "I'm not afraid of you." Yezixi stuck out her tongue at him. Indeed, she was not afraid at all. "You're quite brave. It seems you don't know how powerful I am." Nanshan Wanjiao chuckled. At this time, they had already walked into the Wolf Demon Inn. The space inside was larger than expected. There were some seats, but the rest was empty space. Those demons who didn't like to change into human form liked to lie on their backs. That place has great food. There are also some ascetics who come here to do business. As long as they pay, the Wolf Demon Inn will protect them unless they leave here. After all, it is safe to rest, practice, refine elixirs, etc. in a place surrounded by defensive circles. Wu Yu glanced over and saw a lot of strange monsters. There was even a snail that turned into a monster with a huge shell and some weird ones. For example, there was a group of tree monsters not far away, laughing loudly. No, a group of trees are talking. The scene is quite weird. There are probably hundreds of guests here. Everyone here is very respectful to the owner of the Wolf Demon Inn, so everything is peaceful and everyone does not disturb each other. It is said that if there is a conflict, they will go out to resolve it. Wu Yu's eyes swept across these various demons, and then he saw the black clouds, tigers, and wolves. There were quite a few of them. They also maintained their original form and were active in the inn, mainly serving guests, serving tea and water. The black cloud tiger wolf is completely black and has a strong body. It is indeed a demon wolf, but its body is more burly and somewhat similar to a tiger. It is like a demon born from the mixture of tiger and wolf. It is majestic and has a high level of blood. There was a ball of white flames under their feet, which looked like white clouds. This is probably the origin of the name Black Cloud Tiger Wolf. Wu Yu thought of Zhu Wuxian blood qi, etc. In fact, Zhu Ying's bloodline was very high, just because in a place like Dongsheng Shenzhou, its growth cycle would be particularly long, and there would never be enough cultivation resources to reach its peak. Wu Yu and Zhu Ying have a good relationship. He originally planned to bring Zhu Ying to Yanhuang if he could have a foundation in the ancient Yanhuang kingdom. However, Yanhuang is not a place where he really feels safe. He is not sure about life or death here. Now he wants to, maybe Nanyanyas, who is a more suitable place for Zhu Ying. With his bloodline level, there is definitely a lot of room for improvement here. When Wu Yu and others came in, a black cloud tiger and wolf immediately came forward. Seeing Wu Yu and others arriving in human form, he directed Wu Yu and others to the side with tables and chairs. They liked this kind of guests and would not, after wasting their space. The little demon asked, "What do you three need? This is our list. If you need to know any details, you can ask me." The service is neither humble nor overbearing, but rather interesting. Nanshan Wanjiao pressed the list given by him and used some magical power, which was a bit similar to Wu Yu's Dao mind control soul demon technique. He said to the little Heiyun Hulang, "I want to see your boss, his name is Heike that one, I heard that he has good news and I want to ask him something." "Okay, everyone, wait a minute." The black cloud tiger wolf was influenced by Nanshan Wanjiao, and of course they would not refuse. They went directly to the depths to find their boss. Although they became demons, the wolf demons still lived in groups. In their group among them, the strongest one is the Wolf King, who is actually the founder of the wolf demon inn. Wu Yu came to this world of monsters, looked at the rough-styled buildings of monsters, and looked at the informal and various monsters, which he found quite interesting. For example, the demons in Dongsheng Shenzhou actually have less understanding of things like magic circles. They will never have inns or shops. After a while, the black cloud tiger wolf brought out a middle-aged man with black hair. He was tall and thin, with a few scars on his face. His eyes were sharp and not angry. Since he appeared, all the black cloud tiger wolves around him were crawling on the ground. Very respectful. This demon in human form should be the Wolf King here, Heike. He really looks like a king. He stared at Wu Yu and the others, walked forward, and sat down at the last seat in the 8 Immortals table. He glanced around and finally landed on Yezixi. It seemed to him that Yezixi was at the highest level. Wu Yu was a little surprised. This guy was in the Dao realm. Although he was at the first level, he was still the strongest demon he had seen in this small valley. No wonder there is such a big industry here. It's okay to ask questions. People often come to me to inquire about information, but they all have to pay. Hey 11 said to Yezixi. Yezixi looked at Wu Yu innocently, and then realized that the person who wanted to speak now was Nanshan Wanjiao, so she looked at Nanshan Wanjiao. At this time, Nanshan Wanjiao cleared her throat and said, "This is no problem, I don't know what the price of Wolf King is. I don't like asking for high prices." Hey 11 was a little depressed. He then realized that the little girl Yezixi looked like she was not the leader at first glance, so he turned around and said to Nanshan Wanjiao, "This is a small business, I operate it with integrity, and I never do anything random. As long as it is a question, whether I know it or not, I have to pay for it. Can you afford it?" A question about the magic elixir, which is actually very high. However, Wu Yu now has a lot of treasure, so he doesn't care about this. Nanshan Wanjiao smiled and said, "It's a bit expensive, but it's still bearable. The next question is, listen up. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 934. Wu Yu was not afraid of asking for money. What he was afraid of was that this person would not give him a chance to contact him and would not say anything. Writing this, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. As for what questions to ask, he had already agreed with Nanshan Wanjiao. Before Nanshan Wanjiao asked the question, Hai Zi said, "First take out a question asking pill, and then ask the question. This is my rule. However, the three of you have heard about my reputation and know it, and you will definitely not do it. It will be a waste of time." Nanshan Wanjiao didn't care, Wu Yu was the one who provided the money anyway, so he first took out a questioning divine pill, pinched it with his fingers, put it gently in front of Hai Zi's eyes, put his head close to it, and whispered, "You need to know the whereabouts of Nangong Wei." Hey 11 smiled, and he first put away the god of questioning pill, and said, I guessed right, the three of them came here for the reward. Killing Nangong Wei, the reward is indeed a lot, and it can also please Heifeng. Demon King. However, I have disappointed the three of you. If I knew the whereabouts of Nangong Wei, you would definitely not be able to see me when you come here this time. Therefore, I have gained nothing. This person was recommended by a friend of the emperor, so he should have a good reputation. Wu Yu didn't have much hope on this issue. Nanshan Wanjiu didn't feel sorry for the asking divine pill. According to Wu Yu's words, he put down the second asking divine pill and said, I want to know all the details of the day when the Black Blade Demon King's son was killed, such as Nangong Wei's appearance, reasons for killing people, and methods. Wu Yu at least knew that nothing happened to Nangong Wei and she had not been caught, so next, he wanted to know more details, which would be helpful to him. Heiji calmly put away the asking magic pill and said, it doesn't sound like there is only one question. Nanshan Wanjiu sneered and said, this is a problem. You just accepted one for nothing, so you must be kind. We also came here after being recommended by others. Okay, even though I wasn't there that day, I know pretty much the same thing. The little demon king has always been domineering in this magic bee domain. No one except the Black Blade Demon King dares to punish him. I have also suffered a lot Shao calamity. Usually, the little demon king likes to lead a group of people and cause trouble everywhere. One day, when he arrived at the nearby Fenki mountain, he suddenly saw 9 color flames burning on the top of the mountain. He was curious, so he went up and saw the Fenki mountain. There are many giant sycamore trees on Kishan, and the giant tree on the highest peak is the biggest. The 9 color flame is burning there. The little demon king took a look and found that there was a beautiful woman in the flame, who was practicing with her eyes closed. The woman was beautiful and seemed to be some kind of flaming bird demon. The little demon king immediately felt possessive of her. They all persisted until the Black Blade Demon King arrived and died after saying a few words. Anyway, it was because he had 9 kinds of flames all the time. The little demon king is actually very capable. He doesn't rude to beautiful women, and he also has a good skin, so he waits patiently. When the woman finishes practicing and opens her eyes, he will get to know the woman again. It is said that the woman was in the beginning she was a little confused, so she chatted with the little demon king on the sycamore tree. The little demon king probably asked her for a long time before she remembered that her name was Nangong Wei. After remembering it, she seemed to have thought of a lot of things and wanted to leave here immediately. This was beyond the little demon king's expectation. He was reluctant to let her go, but the woman had already decided to leave, and was very anxious. She did not listen to the little demon king's pleas to stay, and refused to stay even with the messenger talismans and the like. When the little demon king took a look, he was afraid that he would never find this person again, so he lost his patience, showed his true colors, and wanted to take the woman back. When he made a move, the woman was angered and was killed immediately. Everyone was also implicated. If there wasn't one left who was still alive and didn't die, no one would know how the little demon king died. However, the one who survived didn't last long and died immediately. Speaking of which, this flame bird demon is really bad-tempered and will kill everyone at once. From these words, Wu Yu probably got a few pieces of information. First, she was practicing on that sycamore tree. When she woke up, she was blurry. Maybe she didn't know who she was, and maybe she had forgotten all her previous memories. Secondly, after thinking about it, she was in a hurry to leave. It was obvious that there was something important or someone was restricting her. Third, she must have a bad temper. She was talking to the little demon king just now, and then she killed everyone. Of course, it is possible that the little demon king was a little unbearable and angered after his foxtail was exposed. After knowing this detail, he had more doubts and wanted to know what happened to her. Since that day, has there been any news about this woman named Nangang Wei? Has anyone seen her or appeared somewhere? Nanshan Wanjiao asked. Ask about the magic pill. Hasia thought that he had answered the second question very clearly. The third asking God pill was given to him. He made a profit today. You know, anyone who reports the news about Nangang Wei will be rewarded with 10 asking God pills. To be honest, after that day, this person seemed to have evaporated. He never appeared again, and there was no news. To this day, the reward for the Black Blade Demon King is still valid, and the Black Blade Demon King himself is also. We are searching for this person all over the world. The search area covers the entire southern part of the Nanyan Demon continent, and there are many demons joining us. It will not be easy for you to get the reward. It depends solely on luck. It sounds like he is unlikely to know Nangang Wei's whereabouts, because if he knew, he would not tell anyone. Just telling the Black Blade Demon King would reward him with 10 questioning divine pills. Nansha Wanjiao saw this and was ready to leave. Wu Yu frowned and thought for a while, then said, "So, where is the Black Blade Demon King now?" Nanshan Wanjiao had been the one asking before, but he suddenly spoke, which made Hizuo startled and said, "Why do you care about this?" Now, the one who is most likely to find Nangang Wei is the Black Blade Demon King. Wu Yu thinks that instead of being like a headless fly, it is better to monitor the Black Blade Demon King directly. He estimates that the chance may be greater. However, Hizuo's reaction made him a little strange. He took out a questioning divine pill and said, "You don't need to ask my motives. You just need to answer my question, where is he?" The questioning divine pill bounced and rolled in front of him. Hizuo glared, and the Dao Wen Shendan rolled back to Wu Yu. He said, "The whereabouts of the Black Blade Demon King are erratic, and I don't know either. Didn't you say that you would take the Dao Wen Shendan regardless of whether you know the answer or not? Why did you return it to me?" Wu Yu felt that there was something wrong with him. His own problem made him a little confused. He had actually said that he didn't know just now, but why did he give him the Dao Wen Shendan? Hizuo must have calmed down by now. He stretched out his hand to take the Dao Wen Shendan, saying, "I just feel that you spent a lot of money today, and didn't get much useful information. I feel a little sorry. But since you don't care, I'll take it away." But, with a whoosh, the Dao Wen Shendan disappeared in front of Hizuo. Wu Yu looked at Hizuo with eyes burning with flames. At this time, Hizuo's whole body turned cold, and he roared in a low voice, "Sir, are you playing with me?" Wu Yu sneered, "No, I'm just curious. You know the whereabouts of the Black Blade Demon King, why don't you tell me?" "Yes, because it conflicts with your rules." "Are you kidding? How can I know where the Black Blade Demon King is? However, I can mark his base camp on the map for you, but your action just now has angered me, so forget it. Apart from me, few people here know where his demon cave is. Now, you can go. I won't see you off." Hizuo's voice was cold. He stood up and was about to leave. Many people felt the conflict here. Those black clouds, tigers, and wolves surrounded them at this time, staring at Wu Yu and the others. Wu Yu had a little idea. He wanted to find the Black Blade Demon King. At least he could let Nanshan Wanjiao follow him secretly. As for where his base camp was, although the area was a bit large, it was not difficult for Wu Yu. He had the somersault cloud, so where could he not go? So, he didn't need to stay here and fight with the wolf demon. The three stood up. "Goodbye." Under the gaze of the black cloud tigers and wolves, the three walked out of the wolf demon inn. At this time, Hizuo's eyes were always on Wu Yu. In fact, he was very surprised, because he realized that the real leader of the three people was Wu Yu, who he thought was the weakest. Why did he feel a little unhappy when he heard you ask about the whereabouts of the Black Front Demon King? Yezixi asked. Wu Yu and Nanshan Wanjiao were also thinking about this question. They needed to come out and calm down and think about this question clearly. Wu Yu looked at the map and was confident that he could find the base camp of the Black Front Demon King. It doesn't matter. If it doesn't work, I can ask this guy. Wu Yu was not worried. There were still many people inside. He could find a time when there were fewer people. After all, it was not too exposed now. However, just as they walked out of the Wolf Demon Inn, suddenly, the ground shook, as if thousands of beasts were galloping. Looking forward, they saw a large area of blood and a lot of smoke and dust. They could see the trees in the distance being shattered in an instant during the collision. There should be a lot of demons rushing here. It seems that they are going to stir up trouble, Wu Yu estimated in his mind. At this time, he used his fire eyes to look at the place where the blood light was rising into the sky. He did see a group of demons rushing here. Looking carefully, it seemed to be a group of cheetahs with blood-colored hair all over their bodies. They were burning with blood-colored flames. They were very fast and very agile. Their bodies were about the same size as black cloud tigers and wolves. It is worth noting that their leopard heads actually looked a bit like dragon heads, with dragon whiskers and dragon horns. When you get closer, you can see a lot of blood-colored dragon scales on their limbs and between their hair. It's the blood cloud dragon leopard. The sound of a demon fleeing miserably was faintly heard. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 935. Wu Yu also saw that this group of blood cloud dragon leopards may have part of the blood of the divine dragon, and they have the aura of the divine dragon, and this part of the blood has obviously improved their abilities to a large extent. A group of blood cloud dragons and leopards were moving very fast. Wu Yu and the others had not yet completely walked out of the wolf head. With howling dust flying, a group of blood cloud dragons and leopards, about 30 of them, had already arrived in front of the Wolf Demon Inn, blocking the way. Stayed on the way out of Wu Yu and others. This group of blood cloud dragons and leopards are obviously here to cause trouble, so they are very ferocious and their overall quality is very strong. Don't move. Hizi, all the black cloud tigers and wolves, get out of here. After the group of blood cloud dragons and leopards arrived, they were breathing heavily and roared towards the Wolf Demon Inn. Before this, there was already a commotion at the Wolf Demon Inn. There were many black cloud tigers and wolves rushing forward from behind. Wu Yu stepped out of the way and allowed them to rush out. What's going on? Yezixi was puzzled as he looked at the black clouds, tigers, and wolves as if they were facing a formidable enemy. Just wait and see what happens. Wu Yu guessed that he was in for a good show. At this time, the black man with a solemn expression rushed out surrounded by a group of black cloud tigers and wolves. At this time, basically all the black cloud tigers and wolves in the inn had come out, and their number was much more than that of the blood cloud dragon and leopard. However, Wu Yu could tell that the overall quality of Xuanhuan Bao was much stronger. Especially over there are already 2 bloody cloud dragon leopards in the Wenwen realm. Although they are both at the first level, if they join forces, they will definitely suppress the Hizi one. After Heiji came out, he transformed into the demonic body. It was the largest among all the black cloud tigers and wolves, and its shoulders were particularly broad. Although it was a demon wolf, its body shape was very much like that of a tiger. At this time, the original demons around them had already run away, and those inside were probably afraid to come out for the time being. Wu Yu and the others were the only ones watching the show. Heike, we are here to collect the debts we owe back then. Today, our third brother's revenge will be repaid with a bloodbath in your wolf demon inn to honor my third brother's spirit in heaven, said the leader, the strongest blood cloud dragon leopard. There was another person who also asked about the realm. His voice was even colder and he said, when you heard the news about our brothers rising in the north, you should have known that such a day would come. Unfortunately, you were still so bold that you didn't hide. Yun Shen, Yun Ying, his dark eyes swept over the two of them, their faces uncertain. He probably has heard of the rise of these two people, but this wolf demon in has been his legacy for so many years, and he cannot give up. Therefore, although he had expected it, he did not hide. Wu Yu listened and could probably guess that these blood cloud dragons and leopards must have been attacked by the black cloud tiger and wolf when they were still young, and their third brother was killed, and this group of people probably escaped at that time, enduring the humiliation and suffering. Today I finally came to cause trouble and take revenge. Those blood cloud dragon leopards have been waiting for this moment for a long time, so they didn't say much at this time and just crawled forward. They probably grew up in the battlefield and were more bloody. Although there were more people than this group, they basically grew up in the small valley. For the big black cloud tiger wolf, he must be more brave and good at fighting. You have arrived earlier than I thought. However, now that you are here, our Heiyun tiger and wolf clan are not afraid of you. Brothers and children, this group of monsters will kill us all. But, our clan, never fear, let alone death. Let them see how powerful we are today. Let them go back to where they came from. Yes, although the black cloud tigers and wolves look relatively young, they obey the strong and have the best collective spirit. At this time, with the encouragement of each other and their superb wildness, they dispersed instantly, and then the numerical advantage was used to suppress the Xuanhuan dragon leopard. A war is about to break out. Although Haizi didn't expect it, he was determined to fight to the death at this time, because he knew that the hatred between the two tribes could only be resolved by a fight to the death, and any negotiation would be ineffective. Wu Yu didn't expect to see a big melee between demons when he came here. The battle between wolves and leopards broke out instantly. Basically, a blood cloud dragon and leopard fought against 2 to 3 black cloud tigers and wolves. However, it was different on the battlefield at the top. The two monsters, Yun Sheng and Yun Ying, who were in the realm of asking, directly locked onto Heisye the moment the battle started. These are the 3 largest behemoths. It seems that each one is about the same strength. However, 2 bloody blood cloud dragon leopards besiege Haizi. Wu Yu can see that Haizi is very fighting and ferocious, but he cannot stop it. The battle was one-sided, and for the time being, his brothers and children could barely fight against the Xuanhuan dragon leopard, but if it continued, they would probably be completely defeated. This group of blood cloud dragon leopards is obviously of higher quality, and they come prepared. Decades of revenge. This fight had nothing to do with Wu Yu, so Wu Yu did not take action. When he saw that Heisye suffered heavy losses one after another, and several Heiyun tigers and wolves had already died tragically, the next casualties would definitely be more serious. If Heisye died in the battle, this group of black men would Yunhulang had completely lost hope, unless at this moment, Heiji could allow them to escape separately, and maybe some of them could survive. We have endured the hatred for decades. Today, we will definitely make your family pay for it with blood. The blood cloud dragon leopard was so fierce that it had many bloodline magical powers. It was very ferocious and its moves were deadly. Half of the small valley was plunged into chaos, and the group of demons in the wolf demon inn were also trembling, worried that they would come in. Of course Wu Yu didn't need to save He 11. The other party had nothing to do with him. This was a battle between demons. It was natural for Xuanhuan Longbao to seek revenge. Moreover, He 11 deliberately hid it from himself. This chapter is not over, please click on the next page to continue reading. At this moment, the black man fell heavily to the ground, dripping with blood, and looked like he was dying. His condition made other black cloud tigers and wolves also dejected. In a short period of time, a large number of people lost their lives. Looking at the young people, Heian Hulang fell to the ground and saw their blood dripping with blood, including his children. A piece of blood. Perhaps we should have taken precautions earlier, thinking that we would have such a miserable day, and that we might be exterminated. However, it can only be said that he was too confident. He knew that they were already strong, but he was still unprepared. But now he had to swallow the consequences, and implicated so many young people. Seeing them die in battle when they were young, my eyes are already blurred by tears and blood. Obviously at this time, I only felt deep regret. Heike, let me send you back to the west. Third brother, your spirit is in heaven, just watch. The two blood cloud dragons and leopards charged towards him, their eyes full of murderous intent, but Heisye found that he could only stand up hastily. Death has never been as close to me as it is now. Perhaps, he who never despaired was already desperate. However, at this moment, in the blood, he saw the three people standing in front of the wolf demon inn. They were not involved in the battle, but were watching from the side. Seeing them, He Zhao had a bright idea and a little fire in his heart, which suddenly burned into a sea of fire. He saw hope. I have her place. Save us, I tell you, suddenly, Heiji said in a sharp voice. Wu Yu was of course greatly surprised when he heard this. When he heard this, of course he no longer had to sit idly by. In fact, he vaguely felt that Heiji was hiding something from him. Outlaw clone. In an instant, at least 1,000 Wu Yu appeared on the battlefield, entangled with those blood cloud dragon leopards. Those blood cloud dragon leopards were instantly beaten by Wu Yu's clones, howling miserably, and running away in embarrassment. As for Wu Yu's true body, at this moment, they appeared in front of Yun Sheng and Yun Ying. These two were strong men in the realm of asking and were not easy to deal with. However, when Wu Yu sacrificed the 9 tribulation furnace burning sky pillar, it suddenly swept away. That stick was so powerful that it hit one of the blood cloud dragon leopards directly. The blood cloud dragon leopard screamed and flew out immediately. Second brother, the other one, was also scared away by Wu Yu and went to check the injury of his second brother. Wu Yu defeated him with one stick, but he did not actually kill him. Go away, you can't kill him as long as I'm here today. All Wu Yu present spoke at the same time. The scene was quite spectacular. At this time, the other blood cloud dragon leopards were also forced back by Wu Yu's clones. Who are you? Why are you helping him? Yun Sheng was extremely angry and unwilling. Don't worry about it. You are out of luck today. If you don't get out, you will have to stay here forever, Wu Yu said coldly. The blood cloud dragons and leopards looked at Wu Yu with eyes full of fear. Yun Sheng looked at the situation, and Yun Yun was already injured. No matter how angry he was, he could only suppress it and said to Heisye, today counts, you're lucky, but you can hide once, but you won't be able to hide for the rest of your life, just wait and see. With that said, a group of blood cloud dragon leopards left and took away the bodies of the blood cloud dragon leopards who died in the battle. Wu Yu then put away his clones. When he turned around, a group of black clouds, tigers and wolves looked at him blankly, including Heisye. In fact, Heisye didn't know what level he was at. He just wanted to see these three people. Together, they might be able to help him block a Yun Yun, and then he might still survive. Unexpectedly, Wu Yu directly drove away a group of blood cloud dragon leopards. Moreover, it looks like he didn't put in much effort at all. Many thanks. The black cloud tigers and wolves looked at each other, still in shock. Stop talking nonsense, go in and tell me what you just said. Wu Yu grabbed him directly and entered the wolf demon inn. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 936. Wu Yu really didn't waste any effort in dealing with these blood cloud dragon leopards. In fact, he sensed that there was something wrong with this black man, and originally planned to wait until there were fewer people before taking action directly to see what the other party would say if he was forced to do so. In the end, Xuanhuan Bao came and helped Wu Yu a favor. Of course, Wu Yu never expected that he actually knew Nangong Wei's whereabouts. He hadn't heard the details yet, so Wu Yu wasn't sure yet. He walked into the wolf demon inn first and returned to where he was just now. At this time, the demons inside didn't know that the battle outside was over. They just saw that He Shui was under heavy damage, but he was still able to turn back. The other He Yun tiger and wolf seemed to be in good condition, but there seemed to be some dead bodies. Sorry, everyone, my old enemy is here today. Although he has been beaten away, we still need to take a rest. We can only ask the guests to leave first, He 11 first said to the other demons. As I write this, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow. Wu Yu did not kill the bloody cloud dragon leopard. They might still kill him back in the future. Therefore, Wu Yu estimated that their wolf demon inn did not want to continue to operate it. At this time, after the demons knew that there was no danger outside, they quickly left, and the place was empty soon. Young men, please clean up and prepare to leave. We can't stay here any longer. Heiji ordered the other Heiyun tigers and wolves to clean up, and indeed they made plans to leave. Wu Yu estimated that there was also such a meaning in this. Nangong Wei's news is very important to the Black Blade Demon King. The Black Blade Demon King doesn't want anyone to know. If he tells Wu Yu, he will definitely leave here. After a while, the crowd was cleared. Facing the gazes of Wu Yu and the other three people, after realizing that these three people were not simple, he said in a dark tone, "Actually, it's useless for you to know. I did get the information about Nangong Wei's location. It was my friend, the confidant of the Black Blade Demon King who told me, but 3 hours ago, the Black Blade Demon King had already set off in person, rushing to find Nangong Wei, and might have killed her by this time. It is impossible for you to kill Nangong Wei before him, so you cannot receive the reward. It is said that someone saw the existence of Nangong Wei, told the Black Blade Demon King, and received 10 Dao Shendan. Wu Yu didn't expect that he was very fast, but he still seemed to be late. No wonder he didn't tell Nangong Wei's location at first. It turns out that the Black Blade Demon King already knew about it and had already set off. In this case, Nangong Wei is indeed in danger, and it is quite dangerous. Tell me the location. You don't need to tell me anything else. Wu Yu knew that if there was hope, every moment of the time would be a matter of seconds. Is there a map of Nanyan Demon Continent? I'll point it out for you. He 11 kept his promise and did not embarrass Wu Yu. Wu Yu quickly took out the map. He Xie clicked a red dot on the map and said, "The location is some distance away from here. It's not close, but it's easy to find when you get close, because it's in the Moyun Yao on the tree. I don't know if you know the Moyun Demon Tree. It is a very tall tree on Nanyan Demon Continent. The crown of the tree is submerged into the clouds, and a city can be built on it. Nangong Wei on this Moyun Demon Tree. In addition, the Moyun Demon Tree is actually a demon that has been sleeping for many years. This demon is very unique. It relies on sleeping to become stronger and improve its realm. Generally, it will not wake up, even if it is. Someone is climbing and living on his body. It is said that in order for the Moyun Demon Tree to wake up, at least a strong person must attack him with all his strength. Moyun Demon Tree. Wu Yu remembered the name and what He Xie said by the way. He was about to leave immediately, but when he heard that the Moyun Demon Tree turned out to be a tree demon, he waited for He Xie to finish. He also wondered why Nangong Wei would in this monster. It turns out that this monster is always sleeping, and it must be no different from a real huge tree. Let's go. Wu Yu and the others left in an instant after getting the location of the Moyun demonic tree, leaving He Xie touching his chin thoughtfully. The Black Blade Demon King has set out for more than 3 hours to kill his enemy. It is impossible for these 3 people to arrive in front of the Demon King, nor can they kill Nangong Wei in front of the Demon King to get the reward. So, it only means that they are not those who are running to kill people, maybe trying to save others. That's right, these 3 guys must be trying to save Nangong Wei. He bowed his head in thought. What are the identities of these three people? Are they related to Nangong Wei? They don't look like they are from Nanyan Demon Continent. They may be from the Yanhuang ancient territory. Especially the human race who takes the lead is clearly the Yanhuang tribe. Should I summon the Black Blade Demon King and tell him about this matter? No, he doesn't like it. I leaked Nangong Wei's location. Moreover, now that Blood Cloud Dragon Leopard wants to trouble me, Black Blade Demon King won't want to help me. Although I can find some friends, friends can't always help me. The only way to stay here is to leave the Demon Bee territory and hide for a while. In this case, the affairs of these three people have nothing to do with me. Thinking of this, Hasia made a decision and went to pack his things and prepare to leave. At this time, Wu Yu was driving the somersault cloud, with Nanshan Wanjiao and Yezixi sitting on it. The three of them were heading towards the northwest of Nanyan Demon Continent at the fastest speed. The location marked on the map was there. In the continuous Moyun Mountains, a huge Moyun demon tree rose to the sky, like a pillar. If a city could be built on it, it would probably be comparable to Qingtian Shushan. The key is that this is a sleeping demon. This demon can become stronger by sleeping, which is also a miracle of the ages. Generally, the age of this kind of demon will be very long, and the time of living is much longer than that of a cultivator. After all, it spends most of its time sleeping. This chapter is not finished yet. Please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content later. At this time, Wu Yu held his breath, said nothing, with a cold face, and tried to go there as fast as possible. After all, they had set out for so long, and the Black Front Demon King was going to hunt down his enemies, so his speed must be not slow. It's hard to say what the situation is over there at this time. If Nanshan Wanjiao and Yezixi didn't affect his speed, he probably wanted them to stay down there first. After all, this time he might be facing a top warrior like the Black Blade Demon King. They are useless. Without them, Wu Yu has a better chance of surviving by escaping with the somersault cloud. Don't worry, brother Yu, she will be safe, Yezixi comforted. It's all my fault. If I hadn't provoked the yin-yang old demon, I wouldn't have wasted time and caused the current situation. Wu Yu was a little confused and thought of what happened in the sea. He could have chosen not to save people or kill the yin-yang snake. Nanshan Wanjiao said, there are rules for right and wrong, and you can't say that. Your previous way was clear. You will never regret anything you do. Besides, you don't know the situation yet, so you can think of anything here. If you really want to blame yourself, it's not too late when something really happens to people. Don't talk nonsense, it will be absolutely fine. Yezixi glared at Nanshan Wanjiao. Yes, the little girl is right, Nanshan Wanjiao said. I understand. In fact, Wu Yu was a little confused just now. With the comfort of the two of them, although in different ways, Wu Yu was able to wake up and knew that his current self-blame would only destroy his mood, which was quite dangerous. The only thing we can do now is to get there as quickly as possible. If we can save her, then we must save her. If we can't. Thinking of this, he felt that thinking too much would be useless. Things have not happened, and we never need to imagine them. This kind of rush is very rough, but it is the most challenging state of mind. The worse the state of mind, the greater the fluctuation of the Tao. Maybe Wu Yu himself could not have thought that now when her news appeared, he at least did not want her to die like this. When he was in Dongsheng Shenzhou before, he might have hated her in his heart. At that time, he did not have such a strong feeling at this moment. He is nervous now, but it means that he has really let it go. At this moment, it really feels like a year is passing by. Finally, Wu Yu saw the Moyun demon tree growing in the deep valley of the mountain range. The root system of the Moyun demon tree is extremely developed, running through a large area of land. When Wu Yu just saw the giant tree on the horizon, there were already huge roots of the Moyun demon tree coming out from the ground under his feet, as if they were the feet of the Moyun demon tree. In fact, all he could see was an extremely huge tree trunk, which was like a mountain reaching up to the sky, and its green crown was basically all immersed in the white clouds, looming. About to arrive. Getting closer and closer, Wu Yu had already stood up at this time, and he was approaching quickly. On the way here, Wu Yu had already made it clear to them that because the enemy they might face this time was really beyond their combat power, so after arriving, Wu Yu asked them to find a place under the tree to stay first, and Wu Yu went up alone, so that it would be easier to escape. Although neither of them wanted Wu Yu to take risks alone, this was indeed the best way. They knew how powerful Wu Yu's second-level somersault cloud was and admired him deeply. Under Wu Yu's strong request, they chose to agree. So at this time, they jumped off the somersault cloud and fell into the valley below, while Wu Yu drove the somersault cloud into the clouds and went to a higher place. In fact, the top of the Moyun demon tree had penetrated the clouds, above the white clouds and under the vast blue sky. Wu Yu quickly rushed out of the white clouds and saw the green tree canopy floating on the white cloud sea in the distance, like a green island floating on the sea. At the first glance, Wu Yu saw the top of the tree canopy, which was surrounded by dense black smoke. The black smoke covered the tree canopy like a huge pot lid. A closer look showed that it was not smoke, but a dense black swarm of bees. Heaven-swallowing record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 937. Such a dense swarm of bees, there must be at least hundreds of millions of black bees. Ran, Wenxiao, Shuo, dot. R, A, N, E, N, these black bees are not demons. Wu Yu estimated that they were the Black Front Demon King himself, or came out of him. After all, if he was in a hurry to find the murderer, he would definitely not bring so many little demons with him. At most, he would bring a few capable subordinates. In fact, when he saw these black bee swarms, Wu Yu felt a little more relaxed. What he was most afraid of seeing was that it was over and Nangong Wei had been killed. After all, this was the Black Front Demon King. After all, he was above the 5th level of the realm of Taoism. He was called a Demon King, so he had such strength. It was impossible for Wu Yu to fight, let alone Nangong Wei. Now, the swarm is still there, so the Black Front Demon King should still be there. He hasn't left yet, so Nangong Wei may not be dead yet. This means that maybe they didn't come as hurriedly as Wu Yu imagined, or something delayed them on the way. No matter what the situation is, it doesn't matter. The important thing is that there is still a chance now. Since there is a chance, Wu Yu will not waste time. I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow. He directly drove the somersault cloud and rushed towards the black bee swarm. Now it is not clear outside, he wants to rush directly inside. If Nangong Wei is in danger inside, Wu Yu may interrupt the killing because of his sudden arrival. In the process of moving forward, the fire eyes and golden pupils in his eyes are piercing through the black bee swarm and looking inside. The fire eyes and golden pupils are very clear, but when Wu Yu approaches, he sees several demons inside. Indistinctly, there seem to be 2 birds, and a golden one. I don't know what it is, but these 3 are not the Black Front Demon King, because the Black Front Demon King is at least black. I didn't see him at first glance, but there are so many bee swarms, and now he must be here, which means he should be in human form. As for Nangong Wei, Wu Yu saw that the 3 demons were surrounded. In the middle of them, there should be a branch of the Moyun demon tree. At that position, Wu Yu caught a glimpse and saw a burning flame. At a glance, there were many colors. There should be 9 colors, but the strange thing is that it doesn't seem to be a person. It is much larger than a person and feels like a spherical object. In an instant, that's all Wu Yu saw. Because in the next moment, he was already outside the bee colony. At this time, millions of black bees in the dense bee colony turned around, vibrated their thin wings, and saw Wu Yu rushing in. However, These black bees have not reacted yet. Wu Yu relied purely on the indestructible body of the six realms' heavenly venerable King Buddha to directly knock away many black bees and rushed in. When he got close, Wu Yu found that these black bees were as thick as arms, and probably had a lot of poison. After Wu Yu rushed in, the black bees instantly rioted, looking at Wu Yu irritably, with bloodshot eyes, pretending to attack, but perhaps without orders, they would not move for the time being. After Wu Yu came in, he saw the situation inside very clearly. First, he saw the Black Blade Demon King. He was indeed in human form. He was a middle-aged man wearing a black robe, with black hair and black eyes, and a very slender body. He was very cold and his eyes were particularly sharp, full of some kind of imperial authority. Behind him, a large number of black bees were dancing wildly and submitting to him. Perhaps among the creatures like bees, the Black Blade Demon King is a super emperor who rules the world. When Wu Yu came in, he looked at Wu Yu with a little surprise, with a strong murderous intent in his eyes. His eyes and posture were obviously one level higher than the yin-yang old demon. The remaining three should all be his capable subordinates, but each of them is basically above the level of the yin-yang old demon. Basically, they are all old demons who have practiced for many years and can dominate the sea. First, the one closest to Wu Yu was a huge eagle. The eagle was dark blue in color, with its wings spread out, and it was extremely handsome. Countless feathers on its body were flowing with exploding lightning. Every time it flashed, the air around it exploded in lightning. The most important thing was that it actually had 3 heads, 3 eagle heads, 1 in the middle, and 2 on the left and right. The feathers on the eagle head and neck were light blue, and the thunder on them was the most intense. When Wu Yu came here before, he collected some information about the powerful subordinates of the Black Blade Demon King. This one was the 3-headed Thunder Eagle, and it was said to be at the 3rd level of the realm of asking for the way. On the ground of the 3 Thunder Eagles, there is also a bird-like demon, but it should be a vulture. In addition to the bald head, it has dark yellow feathers. In fact, this vulture looks more ferocious than the eagle, and the murderous aura in its bones is stronger. In its eyes, anything terrifying is food. Looking at the yellow sandstorm wrapped around its body, it is known that this vulture is not simple. It should be the sandstorm vulture, which is also the capable general of the Black Front Demon King. Its strength is similar to that of the 3 Thunder Eagles. The remaining demon is under the seat of the Black Front Demon King. It is the golden demon that Wu Yu saw before. Now when he gets closer, he finds that it is actually a golden beetle. The golden armor on its body is as thick as gold. It is known that it may have defense comparable to that of a spiritual weapon. It shines with light all over, like a golden sundae. This is the golden armor saint insect. Don't be fooled by the golden armored holy insect's appearance of being holy and calm, because he is actually the second most important person in the demon bee domain. He is known as the second king in the demon bee domain, second only to the Black Blade Demon King. This time, in order to avenge himself, the Black Blade Demon King basically brought all the strongest of his men. This kind of battle was really big, reflecting his determination to kill Nangang Wei. The fact that he could spoil the little Demon King to be notorious shows his doting on his son. However, no matter how dazzling and powerful these 4 were, Wu Yu's attention was not on them at this time. What he saw was the existence surrounded by these demons. At this time, the existence was burning with 9 colors of flames, making a crackling sound, very hot, and burning a bit like the burning heaven pillar. However, what Wu Yu couldn't figure out was that this was actually an egg, more than 10 feet long and 5 or 6 feet high. At this time, the eggshell was burning with flames. Is this Nangang Wei? Wu Yu was a little confused for a while, but he saw that the 4 demons had not taken action for the time being. Obviously, they were as confused as himself. They got the news and came to find Nangang Wei. This egg really confused them, so this egg can still exist at this time. Or, Nangong Wei is dead and left this egg? Judging from the 9-colored flames, this should be impossible. She should still exist. Maybe this egg is her, otherwise there wouldn't be such a coincidence of 9-colored flames. However, it is also possible that there is no Nangong Wei from Dongsheng Shenzhou here from the beginning to the end. In any case, if this is the Nangong Wei who killed the son of the Black Blade Demon King, at least she is not dead. Wu Yu saw hope in this egg, which is great news for Wu Yu. Why did a human race break in here? Human race, who are you? Get out of here. When they saw Wu Yu, including the Black Blade Demon King, they were all looking at Wu Yu at this time. Wu Yu's brain turned urgently and said, I didn't know that the kings were here. I just came in out of curiosity, but what's the matter with this egg? How could anyone in Nanyan Demon Continent see the bee swarm and not know my existence? The Black Blade Demon King's eyes turned cold, obviously doubting Wu Yu. I came from the ancient Yanhuang domain and have just been here for a short time. Please forgive me, Demon King. Wu Yu wanted to delay as much as possible to see what they wanted to do next. However, the Black Front Demon King did not listen to Wu Yu much, but said, catch him, I will see what this person is like later. Hearing his order, the three-headed Thunder Eagle instantly descended on Wu Yu's head, opened his mouth and spit out dense lightning and thunder towards Wu Yu. Wu Yu had killed the third-level Yin-Yang ancestor in the realm of asking questions before, so he was not particularly afraid of this guy. However, he saw that the other party was imprisoning him, so he did not show his strength to resist. The lightning fell down and instantly formed a spherical lightning cage, trapping Wu Yu in it. Don't touch it, otherwise you will be wiped out. You are really blind. The three-headed Thunder Eagle glared at Wu Yu and warned him. Wu Yu pretended to be scared and didn't dare to speak anymore. In fact, he wanted to see what was going on now. Apparently, Wu Yu's matter was not very important. After they imprisoned Wu Yu, they were too lazy to care about him. If the Black Blade Demon King had not been a little suspicious of Wu Yu, he would have directly ordered the three-headed Thunder Eagle to kill Wu Yu. Boss, at least the color of the flame matches. The messenger said that he saw Nangong Wei come up with his own eyes. Obviously, this egg was transformed by her. Although it is a bit weird, I think we can still do it, the three-headed Thunder Eagle said. I also think that this woman is very good at escaping. If we don't seize this opportunity and let her slip away, it will be more difficult to catch her next time. What do you think, second brother? The Black Blade Demon King asked the golden-armored saint insect under his seat. Kill it? It is unlikely to be the stuff of other big shots. The golden-armored saint insect knew the only concern of the Black Blade Demon King just now. In fact, if they came here and saw Nangong Wei directly, they would have taken action long ago. My son. The Black Blade Demon King looked at the sky, then closed his eyes. When he opened his eyes were full of murderous intent, and he went straight to the egg. In fact, if Wu Yu hadn't interrupted him, he would have probably taken action at this time. Black Blade Demon King, he's about to take action. This is not a joke. If he's a little slower, the egg will probably be broken. When he came, Wu Yu thought of ways to protect her. It would definitely not work to escape by himself, and the somersault cloud couldn't take her with him. Now seeing that the Black Blade Demon King has made a decision, he knows that he can't watch anymore. At this moment, he uses the somersault cloud to jump out of the lightning cage directly. Then, attack. His target is not several demons, but the Moyun Demon Tree. Hizuo happened to talk about the Moyun Demon Tree, so Wu Yu thought of using it, at least, to create chaos. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 938. In fact, the difference between immortal fighting and fighting between mortal warriors is not that big. Fighting is not about mechanically exerting Taoist magical powers. Sometimes, factors such as method, strategy, will, etc. will have a greater impact on the outcome of the battle. Compared to mortal warriors, there may not be many environmental factors that immortal fighting techniques can draw on, but they do exist. Wu Yu rose from the mortal world as a warrior, and sometimes he was better at discovering the factors that existed around him that were beneficial to him. Writing this, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. When Hey 11 was talking about the Moyun demon tree, he said by the way that the Moyun demon tree was actually an ancient tree demon that had been immersed in a deep sleep for a long time. Hey Shui casually said that the Moyun demonic tree might be awakened, and that was exactly the case. On the top of the Moyun demonic tree, the Black Blade Demon King and the others did not dare to mess around, probably because they were afraid of awakening the Moyun demonic tree. Old monster, causing unnecessary trouble. But now, Wu Yu saw that they were about to take action and he had no way to save the egg, so he thought of the Moyun demon tree. Of course, when he came, he was also thinking about what he could do against the Black Blade Demon King and the others. Method: regarding the Moyun demon tree, he had already thought about it before, and this might be his own method. At this time, the Black Blade Demon King was about to take action. Wu Yu instantly emerged from the prison of the three-headed Thunder Eagle. His control of the somersault cloud was becoming more and more mysterious. In fact, he could jump very far when he started doing somersaults. Now Wu Yu can control himself and quickly turn himself out, so after coming out, he almost rushed out of the position surrounded by the swarm. He was holding the 9 Tribulations Furnace burning sky pillar. 9 colors of flames were burning on the burning sky pillar. The scorching fire was obviously what the Moyun demon tree hated the most. At this time, Wu Yu did not say a word, using all his strength to, shouted angrily, and the stick suddenly hit a thick branch of the Moyun demonic tree. Boom! Those huge branches are actually much larger than the trunks of many trees. Under Wu Yu's bombardment, the branch suddenly exploded and broke. The huge branch, with many branches and huge leaves, suddenly sank into the clouds. Next, it was obviously smashing to the ground. Stop him! The Black Blade Demon King didn't expect that he could escape control in an instant. He was very surprised. It was Wu Yu's next actions that really made him realize this person's trouble. Of course he knew at this time that this young cultivator was probably here for that Nangong Wei. Yes, 3 of the Thunder Eagles and the Sandstorm Eagle were ordered to chase Wu Yu. As for the Black-Edged Demon King and the Golden Armored Holy Insect, they were still near the egg and were not interrupted by Wu Yu's movements for long. At this time, Wu Yu faced the threat of 2 powerful men at the 3rd level of the realm of inquiry. Fortunately, the Moyun demon tree did not disappoint me at this time. He did wake up, and as soon as he woke up, he was very irritable. After all, part of his branches and leaves were broken, which should be considered very painful. Suddenly, the huge Moyun demonic tree came to life, and the countless branches, like the arms of the Moyun demonic tree, started to move at a very fast speed. He probably regarded the Black Blade Demon King and the others as Wu Yu's helpers. Based on the judgment of the Moyun demon tree, Wu Yu might be insignificant to him, so as Wu Yu expected, the Moyun demon tree in a rage, a large number of branches were swung like Wu Yu's iron whip of Beiming Emperor. For a moment, the sea of clouds roared and rolled like a storm. A large number of branches tore the air, making a sharp whistling sound, and headed towards the demon. Let them go. Among them, the Black Blade Demon King is in human form, but because he is the strongest, he receives the greatest care from the Black Blade Demon King. Standing on this tree, I felt like the world was falling apart. In fact, Wu Yu was also within his attack range. At that moment, countless branches and leaves were whipped towards him like iron whips. The leaves and branches even had sharp barbs glowing with green fluorescent light. It's deadly at first glance and a major threat. Of course, the threat faced by the 3 Thunder Eagles was much greater than that of Wu Yu. At this time, they had no time to take care of Wu Yu. Moyun giant tree. See clearly, it's not us who are touching you, but the human race. Stop, it has nothing to do with us. The Black Blade Demon King is roaring, and he is also sealed by the giant tree of Namayun. At this moment, there is a fierce battle, and the movement is huge. But Wu Yu looked at the situation and found that the current Moyun giant tree seemed to be just reacting instinctively, not really waking up. It seemed like it was getting angry. Therefore, even if the Black Blade Demon King roars, it will still be instantly swallowed up by the attack of the Moyun giant tree. Actually, looking from the surroundings at this time, compared to their position at Nanshan Moon viewing, it is quite spectacular, because you can see that the roots of the giant Moyun tree on the ground are moving, causing the earth to tremble, and the crown and branches in the sky are crazy. The beating also caused the clouds in the sky to be riddled with holes. Wu Yu was very small. He relied on the 9 palaces immovable formation to block the first wave of attacks from the Moyun demon tree. The Moyun demon tree did not think much of him, so the first wave of attacks was not strong, and in the second wave before the attack arrived, Wu Yu relied on the somersault cloud to escape quickly, which made it impossible for the Namayun demon tree to capture its existence for a while. At this moment, Wu Yu saw that due to the changes in the Moyun demon tree, the egg was rolling down on the tree branch and was about to fall to the ground. It might also be flipped around while rolling down. The flying hard branches were smashed to pieces. This is Wu Yu's best chance to save her. So at this time, of course, I tried my best to rush over there. Bang bang. During this process, he was struck twice by the Namayun demon tree. Even the indestructible body of the 6 realms heavenly King Buddha was ripped open, and the green barbs on it even tore off a piece of Wu Yu's flesh and blood, causing him great pain. He grinned and almost fainted from the pain. In fact, this was Moyun demon tree's ability, which was to make his opponent feel extreme pain. This chapter is not finished yet, please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. However, due to his physical strength, he still endured it. On the contrary, at this time, he could hear the 3 thunder eagles and several other demons screaming as they were being beaten by the Moyun demon tree. They must be in unspeakable pain. However, Wu Yu looked carefully. Observation found that most of them seemed to be protecting themselves and did not resist much. No matter what, Wu Yu had already rushed to the egg at this time. He was so familiar with the 9 color flames on it. At this time, he didn't care about anything, he just wrapped the egg with a somersault cloud, and then got ready to rush out. This might be his only chance. Taking this egg with him, Wu Yu felt the huge life energy inside. This was different from the previous egg of the sky-swallowing giant beast. It was a thing without a soul, and this was a vigorous life that could not be packed into Sumuru. What is in the bag will definitely cause the magic circle of the Sumuru bag to collapse, so the only thing Wu Yu can do now is to pull her to escape, but whether he can escape the Black Blade Demon King and the others is still very mysterious, or very difficult. In order to protect himself on the way, Wu Yu directly used the 9 palaces immovable formation to rush out, using the burning sky pillar to protect himself and the egg. Now it seemed that the whole world was the flying branches of the Moyun demon tree. Wu Yu gritted his teeth. At this time, I don't know how long the Zhigong immovable formation can last. Fortunately, at this time, Black Blade Demon King and the others seemed to be in trouble. At this moment, Wu Yu heard a clicking sound. He never expected that the egg burning with 9 color flames behind him would actually crack. No way. It wasn't attacked. At first Wu Yu thought it was the Moyun demon tree that blew it up, but he confirmed that it wasn't because he blocked all the attacks. Then, when he was a little confused, there were more and more cracks on the egg, and Wu Yu also felt that the life inside was getting more and more vigorous, and the flames in it were even more intense, forcing him to release the somersault cloud. At this time, he knew for sure that the egg broke on its own and had nothing to do with the Moyun demon tree outside. When he expanded the surround of the somersault cloud, the nine-colored egg with cracks appeared in front of his eyes. The next moment, the egg exploded completely in front of his eyes, and the eggshells flew everywhere. However, Wu Yu couldn't care about the eggshell at this time. When the eggshell shattered, what appeared in the center of his field of vision was a dense nine-color flame. Immediately afterwards, Wu Yu saw a handsome flame bird among the nine-color flames. In Dongsheng Shenzhou, he had already seen the nine-color phoenix transformed by Nangang Wei. The flame bird in front of him was the nine-color phoenix. Most of the monsters here know the legendary phoenix bird. This is a fairy beast. However, the people next to the little demon king did not see clearly at that time. The phoenix beast that appeared in front of Wu Yu at this time can be said to be more majestic and holy than the ones he saw before in Dongsheng Shenzhou. The feathers on its body also had some subtle changes, and the nine-color flames were more intense and fiery. Wu Yu has seen many rare and exotic beasts, most of which are demons. Among them, the most beautiful one is of course Luo Bin, who transformed into her true form in the sky-swallowing demon mansion. Wu Yu will never forget that dream-like white dragon in his life, and the one in front of him is, although the nine-color phoenix is not as earthly, ethereal, and beautiful, it is more intense and majestic. Especially when it spreads its wings, the flames are burning and the momentum is overwhelming. It is indeed difficult for him to forget. When he saw the phoenix beast, his mind went blank for a moment. In fact, at this time, he was still not sure whether the existence in front of him was Nangang Wei. After all, compared to the phoenix in Dongsheng Shenzhou, the phoenix in front of him has changed a lot. It doesn't look like the same level at all. At least Wu Yu can feel a sense of threat brought to him by it. Time seems to stand still at this moment. At some point, Wu Yu's fiery eyes could clearly see that the phoenix beast in front of him was changing. It gradually transformed into a human form. In the flames, the figure of a woman was looming. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 939. Wu Yu saw it clearly. It's her. Nangang Wei. Wu Yu naturally couldn't forget her appearance, or even any detail on her body. Her eyes, ears, mouth, and nose, her fingers, her collarbone, etc. At this moment, she was bathed in nine-colored flames, transforming from the phoenix beast into a human form. In the flames, her appearance was almost the same as before. When she was in Xuanhuan, she was already a beauty. She had black hair and black eyes, as fierce as fire. Her eyes were full of tenacity and persistence, and her aura was like the proud phoenix just now. Like a fairy beast. Of course, as time passed, she became more mature and her figure got better. She seemed to have lost a lot of her former childishness and turned into maturity and calmness. Of course, the most important change is actually a change in temperament. In fact, in the world of monasticism, even among real gods, in terms of appearance, from facial features, skin color, to exquisite figure, everyone is actually not very different. Except for some ghost cultivators who use sinister methods, it is difficult to have the same appearance. A truly ugly woman. Especially for demons, when they first transform into human form, they can even choose to adjust their appearance and figure. In the monastic world, even for gods, it is actually meaningless to really talk about appearance, including facial features, skin color, and body shape. What really determines the difference between an ordinary beauty and a world-famous and peerless beauty that drives thousands of people crazy is the temperament brought about by her identity, strength, status, and characteristics. For example, Luo Bai, she is the dragon lord of the four seas and the king of immortal beasts. Therefore, she is unique. Her appearance makes people feel that this is a kind of beauty that is enviable and awe-inspiring. No one can compare with her in this temperament. Even Wu Yu himself, because of the inheritance of the Monkey King, has undergone earth-shaking changes in his temperament, becoming more and more handsome. If it weren't for the inheritance of Immortals, it would be impossible for a wild boar in Nanjing to look so handsome in its human form. In short, no matter how ordinary a person is, as long as he practices the correct way of cultivation and is not the way of ghosts and gods that has a great negative impact on the body, when he becomes stronger and his status increases, he will become more and more beautiful. If it is a woman, it will become more and more beautiful. For example, the ghost array guest has practiced the way of ghosts and gods, so he is short and ugly and cannot be changed. He can only look more and more terrifying. When Wu Yu saw Nangong now, he knew deeply from her breathtaking beauty that she had undergone a transformation today, and her strength and realm must have been greatly improved. Especially in terms of blood, otherwise, it would be impossible for her to become so dazzling in front of Wu Yu today. That warm and fiery beauty, sharp and intense eyes, made Wu Yu feel like the feeling of suffocation. This is the reason why his mind is a little blank. Nangong is no longer the Nangong of the past. No wonder the little demon king is attracted to her. Now she, the beauty created by this transformation in temperament, is probably the best in the world. Among them, few people could be found. And compared with Luo Bai, different from her gentleness and etherealness, this is another feeling, fiery and proud, aloof, with a supreme majesty that makes people feel ashamed. Of course, Wu Yu has the inheritance of an immortal and will not let him suppress him. In fact, there is another clear example of how temperament and inner nature determine appearance in Wu Yu, and that is his sky-swallowing body. To be honest, although his and the sky-swallowing body have exactly the same facial features, they look like two different types. It feels like there are two people. However, Wu Yu's heart and eyes were completely attracted by the way she was bathing in flames at this moment, and he couldn't think about anything else. It was just that at this moment, he had a suffocating and amazing feeling. His throat was a little dry, and when he struggled to say these three words, at this moment, the fire in Nangongwei's eyes burned to Wu Yu, and there was a sense of vigilance in her eyes. Also looked at Wu Yu sharply, and said, "Who are you? Why did you drag me away?" The first three words of this sentence made Wu Yu completely confused. He had thought that she might be shocked when she saw him, and might not want to see him, but he never expected that these three words were used. "Who are you? Aren't you Nangongwei?" Wu Yu asked with some difficulty. "Of course I am." At this time, she saw that the Moyun demon tree was in chaos, and there seemed to be other demons nearby. She was a little anxious and said to Wu Yu, "Get out of the way, I'm leaving, otherwise don't blame me for not being able to polite." She didn't deny her name, but she still looked like she didn't know Wu Yu, and it didn't look like she was pretending. "You don't know me? Have you forgotten about Dongsheng Shenzhou, Qingtian Shushan, and our affairs? It's not been a few years? I heard your father said that you were missing. I got the news a few days ago that you were here. This time you are besieged by the Black Blade Demon King. I will save you." Wu Yu was very confused. He thought that she might have been affected by something, so he made it clear. "Are you kidding? I don't have a father. I don't know you, let alone what Dongsheng Shenzhou is. Get out of the way." The indifference in Nangongwei's eyes came from the heart. Although it was very warm, it made Wu Yu felt a little cold, because what he was encountering now was completely different from what he thought. Of course, no matter what, the most important thing now is to leave immediately. He quickly got out of the way and said, "Don't worry about it for now, let's go." Nangongwei was still a little skeptical about his straightforward approach. However, she quickly increased her speed and rushed out of the Moyun demon tree. Wu Yu was a little shocked to find that her realm was really very high, at least Yuan. The 10th level of the divine realm. This made Wu Yu a little confused, because this was simply impossible. Did he know what level Nangongwei was? This chapter is not over. Please click on the next page to continue reading. But at this time, he could only catch up. Not long after the two rushed forward, they immediately noticed that the movement of the Moyun demonic tree seemed to have slowed down. The madness just now gradually disappeared, as if it was slowly falling asleep. After a while, all the branches seemed to have recovered. He couldn't move, but before that, the Black Blade Demon King and the others appeared. When he saw Nangang Wei and Wu Yu, the Black Blade Demon King's eyes were cold. Obviously, when he saw Nangang Wei, he was more sure. This is the murderer of his son. The Moyun demon tree actually fell asleep again. Wu Yu thought that the attack just now could completely wake up the Moyun demon tree. Unexpectedly, he continued to sleep so quickly, as if he had woken up to get up. No wonder the Black Blade Demon King and the others only protected themselves and did not attack the Moyun demon tree. Walk. At this time, we can only flee in panic. Where do you want to run? Wu Yu obviously underestimated the power of the Black Blade Demon King, especially in terms of speed. Wu Yu's speed was not bad, but Nangang Wei was still a little behind. When Wu Yu wanted to keep Nangang Wei's speed, when Wei was behind him, the Black Blade Demon King immediately caught up with him. Get lost, the Black Sharp Demon King waved his hand, and suddenly, a dark gust of wind swept towards Wu Yu. The fierce wind was fierce, and it also contained countless black thorns, which obviously contained highly toxic substances. Even if it did not contain highly toxic substances, if you let these numerous black thorns penetrate your body, you would definitely die. The Black Blade Demon King is not much weaker than Chu Yin. He has been cultivating for far longer than Wu Yu. It is normal to crush Wu Yu. However, Wu Yu himself is not mentally prepared. This gap is huge. In a hurry, he was able to summon the Jiling Zun to block his eyes, and the next moment he heard a crackling sound. Both he and the Jiling Zun were knocked out. When Wu Yu stabilized, he felt scared for a while, because those black thorns were so bad it penetrated the Jiling Zun at one point. Even now, Jiling Zun has completely lost his combat effectiveness. Wu Yu can only take him back to the Fusion Tower. Before that, he has seen that Nangang Wei has not been able to escape far, and has already let the Black Front the Demon King took control. At this time, Nangang Wei's body was entangled with many black strips of poisonous mist, like poisonous snakes, entangled tightly. The black mist itself had a large number of black poisonous stings. After finally controlling Nangang Wei, the Black Blade Demon King finally smiled. Although he smiled, his eyes were blood red. At this time, the golden armored holy insect was on the other side to prevent Nangang Wei from escaping in other ways. The other two were just the demon of Moyun demon tree had been tortured very miserably. When he saw that Wu Yu was not dead, he became furious and came towards Wu Yu to kill him. At this time, it is unlikely that Wu Yu has the strength to fight against them. At this time, the black-fronted Demon King took out a pitch-black wine pot with numerous skulls drawn on it. If you look closely, you will see that the lines that make up the skeletons are actually countless magic circles. This is at least one. The spiritual weapon was very sinister. As soon as it was taken out, Wu Yu could hear tens of thousands of pitiful cries inside even though he was still far away. This is probably a Taoist weapon that can only be made by ghost cultivators. I saw the black-fronted Demon King looking at Nangang Wei, gritting his teeth and saying, "No matter who you are, if you dare to kill my son, you must pay a heavy price and make you regret ever coming to this world. Today, I will use you everything, blood sacrifice to my son, this demon be venom urn, the venom stored in it can slowly poison you to death for hundreds of years. From today on, you will live in miserable pain every day, and experience the venom spreading throughout your body. And then fade away, and if this continues for hundreds of years, you will have a chance to die." This magic bee venom urn sounds really discolored, even if Nangang Wei seems a little blurry. After listening to it, her face still changed greatly, and she was also pale, and her voice was a little trembling, and she said, "I know you are the Black Blade Demon King. I advise you not to do this, otherwise my mother will find you and return everything you gave me, 10 times as much. But I will die. Because I am the eternal phoenix." Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 940. Mother. Wu Yu knew that her mother had died a long time ago, and died at the hands of 9 infants' father, infant emperor. Moreover, what is the immortal phoenix? He was a little confused about Nangongwei's current situation. In theory, she was a human being, and because she had the blood of the phoenix in her blood, it was a special case, so she had the ability to revert to her ancestors and transform into a phoenix, but in fact it could not change her essence. In essence, she and the real phoenix fairy beast, there was no comparison. But at this time, she said that she was an immortal phoenix. All this was full of doubts. However, these doubts only flashed in Wu Yu's mind for a moment. Because at this time, he saw that the Black Front Demon King didn't care what Nangongwei said at all, and he didn't allow any explanation. He directly controlled Nangongwei and put it into his demon bee poison urn. This was a spiritual tool. Wu Yu had no doubt that if Nangongwei was thrown in, how miserable would this end be? At this time, he had no chance to hesitate. There was no possibility of other choices. In fact, before he came here, he thought about what means he might have. Moyun Demon Tree is the place he must come to. For this reason, when he was thinking, the first thing he thought was that Moyun Demon Tree might be useful. In addition, in case of emergency, he had another thing, which was given to him by the regent of the ancient Yanhuan country. Immortal Realm Talisman. This Immortal Realm Talisman was originally given to him by the regent to save his life. Now, he took it out without hesitation. No matter what the reason, he couldn't watch Nangongwei being trapped in a hell-like place in front of him. Wu Yu had thought about the Immortal Realm Talisman several times along the way. This time, he was familiar with it. However, he was not protecting himself this time, but protecting Nangongwei. The Immortal Realm Talisman looks like a transparent talisman, as if invisible. Wu Yu activated the magic circle of the Immortal Realm Talisman. For a moment, all the magic circles on it were all running and the effect quickly appeared. An invisible beam of light instantly pierced the Black Front Demon King and Nangongwei. The Black Blade Demon King felt something and flicked his hand. The black mist that attacked Wu Yu before came again, which contained a large number of black thorns. Wu Yu estimated that he regarded the light of the talisman as a means for Wu Yu to attack him. The Black Blade Demon King never expected at this moment that the invisible light actually penetrated his defense and appeared in front of him in an instant. Only then did he see clearly that this was a talisman, but it was too late to notice it at this time, because the power of the talisman quickly formed a ball of light, which included Nangongwei. When the spherical light film surrounded Nangongwei, the venomous black smoke that entangled her body lost the control of the Black Blade Demon King and disappeared in a short time. Nangongwei also regained the ability to move at this time. She was still a little panicked. She naturally knew that this was done by Wu Yu, so she was a little stunned for a while. What the hell? The Black Blade Demon King watched Nangongwei, who was under his control, being protected by the light ball and losing control of Nangongwei. This made him furious. He stretched out his hands, and sharp black thorns extended from his fingers. Without saying a word, he pierced the body of the Immortal Realm Talisman. This piercing shocked him even more. What kind of talisman is this? It's so hard. What are you doing? Kill this kid for me. If the three-headed Thunder Eagle and the Sandstorm Eagle had not solved Wu Yu, he would not have encountered such a speechless trouble before he succeeded. In fact, the three-headed Thunder Eagle and the Sandstorm Eagle were also very depressed. At this time, Wu Yu used the law of heaven and earth, with the smallest change and the fastest speed. Moreover, Wu Yu was still controlling the somersault cloud, flying around on the Moyun Demon Tree. These two old demons were experienced, but they just couldn't catch Wu Yu. Instead, Wu Yu used the Immortal Realm Talisman. "I'll help too." The golden armored Saint Bug also came up at this time. The three old demons came together to deal with Wu Yu. As for the Black Blade Demon King, he didn't think that he couldn't break the talisman that protected Nangongwei. "In front of me, any effort is in vain," the Black Blade Demon King sneered. In this Immortal Realm Talisman, Nangongwei looked at Wu Yu's escape from the pursuit of the three demons with a little confusion, as if she was thinking about the reason why Wu Yu saved her. The Black Blade Demon King never expected that these three people could not deal with Wu Yu at all. Even under everyone's noses, Wu Yu turned over and disappeared in front of them, completely losing his trace, as if he disappeared out of thin air. The three demons looked at each other at this time, and didn't even dare to look at the Black Blade Demon King. In fact, Wu Yu had reached the other side of the Moyun Demon Tree at this time. The Moyun Demon Tree was really too big. After this, Wu Yu did not stop at all. He used the law of heaven and earth to change from the smallest body to the largest, and then sacrificed the 9 tribulations furnace burning heaven pillar. His eyes were burning like fire at this moment, and he had only one goal, that is, the trunk of the Moyun Demon Tree. Take a deep breath. Violence technique. Under the violence technique, his arms became thicker and as thick as his thighs. 9 tribulations burning heaven shattering prison. This was almost the strongest blow, directly hitting the trunk of the Moyun Demon Tree. This time, the terrifying heat of the burning heaven pillar plus Wu Yu's fiery physical strength all hit the trunk. With a violent explosion, it can be seen that there is a huge black pit on the trunk of the Moyun Demon Tree, which looks like a huge eye growing on the trunk. And at this time, there were 9 colors of flames burning in the black pit. "You haven't really woken up like that just now. I don't believe you won't wake up like this." Wu Yu also risked his life. Although he used the Immortal Realm Talisman, he could only protect Nangongwei and couldn't really get her out of trouble. The only way to get her out of trouble was to make the situation more chaotic. Who wants to kill me?" Suddenly, the Moyun Demon Tree made a huge and majestic sound from somewhere, shaking the world. Wu Yu saw that the Moyun Demon Tree was definitely awake. At this time, all the branches on the tree canopy and all the tree canopies under his feet were moving frantically. For a while, the clouds in the sky rolled, and the ground under his feet cracked, which looked like the sky and the earth were collapsing. "Black Front Demon King," Wu Yu shouted deliberately, then directly integrated the somersault cloud into his body, flipped over and jumped, and directly left the area of the Moyun Demon Tree he had just attacked. This jump was not easy to control the most accurate position. He appeared in the higher sky, where he could see that the Black Front Demon King and the 3 demons under his seat were now caught in the crazy rage of the Moyun Demon Tree. The Moyun Demon Tree hated being woken up the most, and hated others using this method even more. To be honest, Wu Yu's full strength attack just now made him hurt a lot, and it was estimated that he had not been so awake for a long time. The Black Front Demon King and his men were miserable. When the Moyun Demon Tree woke up, it felt that the strongest people around it were them. Of course, it did not hesitate to vent all its anger on them. For the Black Front Demon King and his men, this was simply a disaster. Wu Yu's actions were very fast. At this time, the Moyun Demon Tree really woke up. They were still wondering how Wu Yu disappeared. Standing above the Moyun Demon Tree, watching the tens of millions of branches and leaves violently rolling in the clouds and tearing the sea of clouds, the scene was really spectacular. The Black Blade Demon King was somewhere unknown. Wu Yu could clearly see through his golden eyes that the 3 Thunder Eagles and the Sandstorm Eagles were explaining and protecting themselves. However, the Moyun Demon Tree was so angry that it didn't care what they said. Wu Yu saw the violent thunder and the rolling sandstorm, and of course heard their screams. There was also golden light shining inside. Wu Yu estimated that the situation of the Black Blade Demon King and the Golden Armor Saint Bug was not optimistic. Even so, he still had to rush in. He had to find Nangong Wei. She was now in the immortal realm talisman, so she shouldn't be in too much danger. The immortal realm talisman had its own defensive power. Bang! When Wu Yu approached, he suddenly heard a violent collision, and then saw that a sphere seemed to be pulled out and pulled to another direction. Wu Yu only had a glimpse, but he still saw that the thing that was pulled out should be the immortal realm talisman, and Nangong Wei was in it. Obviously, when the Moyun demon tree was furious, the immortal realm talisman was also toppling inside, and then it was pulled by the branch, so it was thrown out. The Moyun demon tree, this can be regarded as invisible, helping Wu Yu a lot. Now that the Black Blade Demon King and his men are trapped, and Nangong Wei has flown out, Wu Yu certainly doesn't need to go in again. He controls the somersault cloud to chase Nangong Wei in the direction where she was pulled away. Before, he saw that Nangong Wei seemed to have fallen into a valley in the distance. The power of the Moyun demon tree is very strong, so it was pulled quite far. When he chased after her, he felt that the immortal realm talisman had broken. It was obvious that the attack of the Moyun demon tree was very powerful, but at least it protected Nangong Wei. When he arrived at the valley, he used his fiery eyes to look around, but found that Nangong Wei was no longer here. She escaped. He was sure that she was drawn to this direction just now, but there was no trace of Nangong Wei here, only the trace of the disappeared immortal realm talisman was still there. Wu Yu immediately used his fiery eyes to search around and gradually expanded the search range. At this time, he was sure that Nangong Wei had indeed escaped alone. Of course, he wanted to continue searching and chasing after her, but this place was too close to the location of the Black Front Demon King and the others, and there would be danger at any time. At least at this time, Nangong Wei had escaped from the dangerous range. Wu Yu thought about it and prepared to pick up Nanshan Wanjiao and the others first, and then see where Nangong Wei went together. At least a group of people had to get here as soon as possible. Wu Yu didn't know how long the Moyun demon tree would control the four demons. If they made it clear, it would be troublesome.